Good evening, Googlers. أهلا وسهلا الجوجلers في GEG Amman. My name is Georgie Nadine, اسمي Georgie Nadine, and I will be hosting this evening's ninth session of the monthly webinar series for the month of July. We are doing it a little bit after the fact in August, as the end of the month fell during the Eid al-Adha holiday season here in the Middle East. And beyond last weekend, and so we pushed it to today. So if you are joining live, then thank you very much for joining us on your summer holiday, as many of you are gearing up to get back to school soon. So I know it's really important that everybody's taking time to rest and relax and recuperate, so we definitely appreciate you being here today. Please feel free to drop your name in the chat. Let us know who you are, where you're joining us from today, and your Twitter handle if you would like to connect. It's always great to make international connections so that we can learn and grow with Google together globally. So we're going to get started. It's just me, by the way. As you can see today, my counter partner is actually celebrating his wedding anniversary today. So congratulations to him and his lovely wife, and wishing them a lovely day today. So you guys are stuck with me. Hope that's okay, but we may cut it a little short then, since it's just in one language today. All right, so as always, you guys have our contact information here on the deck, and I will share the deck also in the chat as always. And so if you would like to join live in the chat, you're welcome to scroll all the way down to the bottom where you will find a Q&A slide on slide 18. And if there's any questions during today's live webinar, please feel free to drop them on the question and answer Google slide, or you can drop them in the YouTube chat, and I will be checking that out to help answer those as we go as well. So we have a really exciting session. I feel like I say that every time I host this event, but that's good. There's always exciting googly stuff happening at GEG Amman, so this is really awesome. So stay tuned with us and we will get started. You can connect with us on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, and our YouTube channel. And so if you click on any of those links, it will take you directly to that feed, and we would love to celebrate googliness with all of you, so please feel free to join. If you're interested in connecting with myself, you can reach me on those platforms. And that is about it. So let's get started with today's googly adventure. Okay. So as always, we have the highlights from the month of July. Then we'll share some Googley Treats with you guys. And remember, this slide deck is set up just like a Choose Your Own Adventure story. So you can click on the slide deck and it will take you directly to that slide. So that's how the agendas work. And then we have some G Suite feature updates for you as always. And then we have the Q&A at the end. So please feel free to use the agenda that way. And this Google slide deck is available for you to remix for your lessons as well. So it's a really great takeaway to have for back to school. All right, so today's July highlights are pretty straightforward because most people, and rightly so, are enjoying their summer holidays. So we actually have been taking it really easy, and we just put on a little series for everybody. Once every Saturday, in place of Tip Tuesday, there would be a 30-minute session on Saturdays covering the basics of some of G Suite's core apps like Drive, Gmail, Classroom, Docs, etc. So we did, there's 10 videos there, 5 in English and 5 in Arabic. And so you'll be able to go, they're around 30 minutes, some are a little bit over depending on, we covered 2 sometimes in one session, so they went a little over 30 minutes, just to make sure the series was on time. So we just covered the last episode on Saturday, which was yesterday, I think. Lose track of time when I'm not at school. So it was Saturday yesterday, and so now the whole series is there for you. So if you would like to catch up on any core features, you can just click on the image on the slide deck, and it will take you to our YouTube playlist specifically of our YouTube channel where you can check out those Summer Saturdays Back to Basics episodes. So please feel free. There's a little arrow just underneath here in YouTube where you can actually share this playlist out with other people. So if you have colleagues at your school, or you have some friends who are thinking about maybe getting started with G Suite for Education because it is so awesome, then please share this link with them because it's really, really basic getting started how-tos. And there is a slide deck in there as well that takes you to the G Suite Help Center to give you step-by-step instructions. So it's a really nice way to get started with Google. Just to clarify, this is not boot camp series. A lot of it is covered in the boot camp, obviously, but the boot camp is for Google Certified Educator Level 1 and Level 2. Those are a little bit more in-depth than this Back to Basics. So this GEG Amman Summer Saturdays Back to Basics is literally just the basics of a few of G Suite's core apps. But like I said before, it is a great place to start if you just need a refresher or you're just thinking about getting started with G Suite for Education. So that is there for you. I was going to say something then and I forgot. But for those of you just joining live now, please feel free to drop your name in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from so that we can connect with everybody. That's what I was going to say about Tip Tuesdays. Yes, so this was in place of Tip Tuesdays. Tip Tuesdays is a 30-minute session that GEG Amman put on just before the closure started for COVID back in March, so a little bit before, I think it was the end of February, and it was a bi-weekly session, 30 minutes of training, about some really amazing, cool, different creative ways to use G Suite for Education in the classroom for distance and remote learning, as well as outside of G Suite, because we were really trying to hybrid and find the best blended approaches for supporting our students and teachers. So we had a bit of everything, and we also had guest speakers join us as well, and so that is going to start again with back to school. So we haven't decided if it will be the first week in September or the second week, but we will have this monthly webinar series again at the end of August, and I'll share the date at the end. So we'll announce then when Tip Tuesday, the first series, will start for back to school. So that's exciting, so you can stay tuned for that. All right, so that takes care of the July highlights, and we will go back to the agenda. And now it's time for some Googley Treats. We love Googley Treats. Okay, Googley Treats today are all brought to you by Google for Education, so very exciting. Nothing too difficult, remember, because we're all getting ready for back to school. But next month we'll be sharing some more cool resources, so definitely stay tuned for that. So this is all the applied digital skills, and I'm pretty sure in June, at the end of June, we shared Googley Treats for the applied digital skills because they did a Continue Your Learning at Summer series, and now they have just released their back to school series. So as you can see here, there's I've taken 4 different screenshots of the back to school toolkits. One is for time management and organization here on the left. There's one for getting started in your classroom. So how do we, there's like design a poster about you, creating a game, a guessing game. So those are some fun things that could really support social and emotional learning. So definitely check that out. There's also a study skills section and an art and games. So if you're thinking like, how am I gonna, squeeze all this in? It tells you the time frame along the bottom, and I know I've shared this before, but just a quick refresher. You're able to set this up and join your students in their learning journey all through applied digital skills, and you can see the time of each section. So you could even do like one a week, for example, or you could start it in school, or you could flip it and have the student start at home the day before and continue in class with you the day after. But I might take one from each and just rotate them. So I'm considering, for example, starting with the getting started in your classroom, and I am considering creating a guessing game. I think my students are really going to enjoy that. So I'm considering starting with that one for my students, because you all know I teach a few hours every week as well. And then I'm going to rotate. So then after that, I'm going to pick a time management one the week after. And then the week after that, I'll do a study skills, and then an arts and games, and back up to getting started in your classroom. I may change it around if I see that the curriculum needs can benefit from changing that order around, but just to give you guys an idea, that's what I'm considering doing. So I definitely wanted to share that out. It's a great way for your students to build both those digital skills, as well as their 21st century skills. So we talk about like the 4 C's of 21st century learners, now becoming the 6 C's, and I'm pretty sure I saw a book the other week on 7 C's. So we're growing our C's, which is really important in today's digital age. But the applied digital skills allow students to be able to do that. So whether you use it as flipped learning before they come to school, or whether you use it in school with your students, they're going to be able to build all of those skills: creativity, communication, collaboration, etc., all together through these units. And so it's a really great place to start. So that is Googley Treat number 1. You can just click on these boxes and you can see the link at the bottom, and it will take you directly, as always, to our Applied Digital Skills section of Google for Education. All right. So the big announcement. Okay, I'm really excited about this one because we just finalized this. I hope you guys are ready. Okay, slide number 7 is in Arabic, and I'm not going to even pretend that I can read what it says, but thank you very much to Dr. Shahinaz, who helped with that translation today. As you can see, there's lots of little GEG logos all around this slide deck promotional card. So I'll explain in a second why the Arabic one is first, but let's start with the English, since that is a language that I can read. And it says there, join our watch party for the Anywhere School. So that's right, there is going to be a party, that's correct, made a pause for effect there, party. But most importantly is the event that is behind the party. So this event is called the Anywhere School. It is put on by Google for Education. So if you click on the title, you'll see here that a Googley, like a bit.ly, but a Google bit.ly link is there, and it will take you directly to the registration for the Anywhere School event. So this event will basically run for 24 hours, but it's actually only approximately a 17-hour event. But because it's rotating through 3 different time zones, it will last for a full 24 hours, depending on where you join in. And you will be able to learn all about amazing updates for G Suite and G Suite Google for Education that are coming out. So obviously today we're going to go through some of the updates. There's a couple of updates for the month of July that I've left out because they're actually going to be updated even further during this launch. So I'm going to include those at the end of August. But basically, it's just loading on the screen behind me now, but basically there's going to be employees from Google, because we love Google. There's going to be testimonies from educators from around the world who are doing some awesome things with Google. There's going to be speakers, keynote speakers, and presentations, and so you guys are in for a real treat. This event is not hosted by GEG Amman. Again, this event is hosted by Google for Education. But what's really exciting, there we go. Okay, so it gives you a countdown. It lets you know that it's starting in 2 days, 3 hours, 37 minutes, and 55.43 seconds. So that's really cool. You have a little countdown there. And basically, Google just explains to you about the event, that they want to help people to celebrate educators and explore what the future of education looks like. Because Google's right, and I'm sure everybody's already aware of this, but basically, some schools will be returning to school fully in school. Some schools will be returning fully in remote and distance learning, and some schools will be returning in a hybrid approach where they go to school for a little bit of the week and then some of the week will be remotely or online. And so Google for Education, to help us prepare for that, is putting on this event called the Anywhere School, quite fitting based on the situation that we're returning to support us with tools and strategies that will help us to be super successful with our back to school re-entry. So thank you very much, Google for Education. What's really exciting, sorry, I'll just scroll down before I say that. So if you scroll down here, it basically gives you the different, the 3 different time zones that you can join. So there's the Americas. You can see the date there, so I don't need to read it out loud. There's Asia Pacific, and then there's also Europe. So just as you can see, when my mouse hovers over the different time zones, it will actually pop in and explain to you the information listed underneath. And so there's other training resources after the event for you to continue. I know that we have covered Teach from Home a lot, but that will be updated, ready for back to school. So the Teacher Center is where you can obviously get your information on your Google Certified Educator Level 1, Level 2. If you want to become a trainer like us, or if you'd like to become an innovator, you can get that information there. And there's also this really awesome activity, Getting Started with Google for Education. My educators at my school loved that when this was released last year. Just really bite-sized little mini training sessions that go to their inbox automatically. I'm pretty sure it was the middle of our week. I think it was a Tuesday. Yeah, it says that there, Tuesday. Awesome. In the Middle East, that is exactly the middle of our work week. And teachers and admins and leaders, they can just watch these little bite-sized videos to get up to speed on G Suite tools. And so really, really awesome. Finally, educator community. So this part is for us at GEG Amman. Pretty cool. So GEGs, basically, as you guys all know, bring local educators together in person and now online as well, to share, collaborate, and support each other in using technology in impactful ways with students. I like their choice of impactful because obviously we're always trying to make experiences with our students and all of our community actually meaningful and authentic, meaning that it's going to help them actually move forward with their learning journey, their professional learning, and or just life in general. So it's really, really awesome. If you click on Google Educators Group, it will take you to a place where you can check to see if there is a GEG in your area. And if you guys are wondering why Amman is not highlighted, just know that Google is working on getting that sorted, but basically you'd be able to find one local in your area. And that brings us back to our special event. So what is happening from GEG Amman? Well, we decided let's connect with our friends from other GEGs around our region, which is Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And let's do some awesome celebrating and learning together. So that's what we did. So the leaders from some of the GEGs listed on either side of this deck. So Les joined us from GEG Kuwait and Filomena from GEG Italia. We were also joined by Abdul from GEG Dutsa, which is in Nigeria, and with Confidence from GEG Lagos. And there's a few others that weren't with us on the call, but that definitely will be joining, or possibly, if time permits, for sure, for us. So basically, we are going to host together an event. This is called a watch party, and so everybody in our areas, our communities, are welcome to join, and that definitely includes GEG Amman. And so this is the Arabic session. And the Arabic session will be a pre-watch party. So before the start of the event is starting at 8 p.m. Jordan time tomorrow evening, the Google for Education event. Again, that's GMT +3, so you have to check your time zone if you're joining outside of Jordan. But basically, the event starts at 8, and so there will be an Arabic pre-watch party hosted by GEG Sudan, which is led by Dr. Shahinez. And so if you are an Arabic speaker in any of our communities, you are welcome to join that watch party, which will be 7:30 p.m. GMT plus 3 for Jordan, and 8:30 p.m. Jordan time. Oof, time zones are still tricky for me, guys. Got to work on that. I actually had it written there, so fair play. At 8:30 p.m. Jordan time, and it will be 7:30 p.m. Sudan time. So that means that for Jordan time, this Anywhere School event from Google for Education is starting at 9 p.m. in our time zone tomorrow. Sorry for the confusion. Time zones are always tricky for me, you guys know. Anyway, the times are listed there, so you can definitely catch them off the deck. So the Arabic session is on Tuesday the 11th at 8:30 p.m. And then for the after party, we're going to host an English one, and this one will be hosted by GEG Amman, but that includes any and all the other GEGs. And so we do encourage everybody to join. We will be celebrating some of the awesome stuff, tools, resources, ideas, etc., that we have learned and taken away from the Google for Education event. So it will be a great way for us to really process the information, really collaborate and come up with ideas of how we can use this meaningfully and authentically with our education communities for back to school. So really exciting. So set your calendars with the times listed on the Google slide, not according to Georgina, obviously. And we look forward to seeing you at the all events if you can. Okay, so that takes care of the Googley Treats for today. And now we're going to go through the G Suite updates. So as I said before, I've listed some G Suite updates here. So I'll head to slide 9. So we do have 7 updates listed there. And there are a couple of others. I've got 2 showing on the right just as updates because we already mentioned them in previous months, but they just had a small update, so I've got them listed above. And then there are a couple of updates, one for Google Calendar specifically, like a few updates are surrounding the Google Calendar application, and then one also for Google Groups. And so I've held on to those, and we're going to add those to the August monthly webinar at the end of August. I'll let you guys know the date at the end, and that allows us to take into consideration any new and exciting things that we may learn through the Anywhere School event. All right, so let's get started. If you click anywhere on this calendar, it will take you to the feature update. And as always, before I share the updates, just a reminder to everybody that G Suite, releases updates to improve their software because they're so awesome. And ourselves as users, as Googlers, we have the ability to send feature update requests. So when you're in an application, you can actually click. Sometimes it's a question mark, and you can click on it and you can actually send feedback directly to the developers of that application so that they can work towards improving it. So if and when G Suite release updates to their applications, it's usually done on 2 different time frames. So one is called a gradual scheduled release, and that means that it's basically how your school has set up your Google for Education in something called the G Suite Admin Console. So your IT department or your G Suite administrator will be the ones that manage that console in order to set up like your user accounts and passwords, organize the team into groups so people can email groups of people at a time, and they also set the feature application and the release schedule. So some schools like to have the updates immediately, and so that is called a rapid release, meaning that when G Suite sends it out, it will happen really quickly, and the users in that domain or the organization will be able to use it straight away. So if you're a G Suite administrator or IT department, have turned on rapid release, then you will receive updates that we share with you here each month based on the rapid release date. So we'll go through that in a second. And if your administrator and or IT department have left it on a gradual release, that means that it will be longer, usually 2 weeks or more before you actually receive the updates. Okay, so let's get started then. Here is the currents replacing Google Plus for G Suite. I'm just going to make that picture a little bit bigger so you guys can see that. So basically, I'm not sure if anybody can take a guess in the chat, but it's basically similar to Google Groups, and Google Groups have also had a recent update. But basically, Currents is replacing the old Google Plus. I only mentioned Google Groups because the UI, the user interface, the way we see it and the way we interact with it may be similar to what you've seen in Google Groups before. But basically, if you were a Google Plus user from a couple of years ago, this is going to actually be the tool that replaces it. It's called Currents, and it's quite an interesting choice of term. I really like this one. We can think about like electrical currents, etc., and how it also connects us. And so I really enjoyed checking that update out. But basically, it started on the 6th of July. It was a gradual rollout, but they did say within 5 days. So now that you're watching this on the 9th of August, everybody should have access to Currents. So it'll be an app in your Google Apps at the top right. And it basically just streamlines the experience for users, making it easy to have discussions and also view suggestions in timely content. And remember, guys, if you see blue text in there, it's always embedded with the link that takes you directly to that Google support file. So if we click on that, as you can see here, this one is specifically for the G Suite administrator. So this is for someone at your school who is helping to implement and roll out and turn on and off these features. This is where they would go to help them learn how to do that for your school. So to click on those and you will be able to learn loads from G Suite. Okay, so that takes care of Currents. The next one, I had initially put these together, number 2 and number 3, because it's both related to dark mode, but there were so many cool graphics and GIFs available from G Suite, I had to split them in the end. So this one is for docs, sheets, and slides, and basically dark mode is available for those, as you can see here in the image. Allowing you, obviously, I'm sure you guys know that already. Dark mode basically is like allows for low light environments, which also saves on battery life. Actually, it's not something that I often remember, but it's true. And so that might be a good tip for you guys as well, that it does save battery life if you're using less light. So you can use dark theme, and what I really like about this is available for Android now, by the way, is that it is able to intelligently adjust itself. And so based on your environment and your light, and also taking into consideration your battery life, it will automatically adjust for you. But you can turn dark mode on and off independently if you would like to. So here is the help article to let you know how to do that. And that is for our core apps, docs, sheets, and slides. I don't see there's any questions in the chat yet, so I'm going to go ahead and keep going. The next one underneath is the GIF to show this feature. And so in order to choose your theme, you can click on the settings and you can go down to choose theme, and then you can choose dark light, or you can go into system preferences. So just follow the GIFs and it's like a visual tutorial right there for you. Awesome. So the next feature update is also dark theme, but for Google Chat. So please let me know in the YouTube chat if you have tried out the new Google Chat feature, and let us know how you are finding that user interface. We started using Google Chat in several of our Google communities, and it's been very positive so far. Pretty straightforward, easy to use, and I'm sure as we progress through the months, Google will do an amazing job of continuing to update that product feature as well, including this very important update for us, which is dark theme available both on iOS and Android devices. So because it's popular and it's really, really, really helpful, so you are able to use dark theme on those applications as well. All right, so that takes care of Google Chat. Let's go back up here. We're on now to update 4. And this is all about Gmail being used alongside other iOS apps and iPad multitasking. Okay, again, I'm going to make this image a little bit bigger so everybody can see, and then I'll move it down a little bit. And so you can see here that on the right-hand side, there's a Google Calendar, and then you can see here that there is the email open on the left. And so obviously, I'm sure everybody being in education understands about multitasking, but what's really nice here is that it's really helpful as far as looking at the devices you're using. So basically, when you're on an iPad, you can multitask between your iOS applications, which includes Gmail and Google Calendar, using the split view. So you can check your schedule. If you need to reply to an email to do that, then you can just split your screen and do it. This was my favorite part. It says you can drag and drop pictures from your Google Photos into an email without leaving Gmail. This is like really big for me. So if you guys know me, you guys know that I'm a massive Apple user. I use everything Apple, and so one thing is I have to go between my apps a lot if I'm on my iPad. So this is super helpful. I don't have to actually leave the application. I can drag and drop inside. So this is really, really good, along with other things. So basically, you can just follow the instructions on the slide to create the split view. And there's also some helpful links in there. I'll just scroll down a bit. There you go, that you can click on also for keyboard shortcuts for your Gmail on your iPad. And so those could be super helpful as well if you are an iPad user like myself. Okay, so now we are moving on to update number 5, which is anonymous users in Google Meet. Okay, this is really important because I'm sure a lot of us are Google Meet users, depending on distance learning or not. But surely there will be opportunities, maybe snow days. Here in the Middle East, we have rain days sometimes. Believe it or not, living up here on the mountain, it can actually get quite dangerous if the rain is really heavy. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I saw some quite thick hail pellets on one particular day. So you just never know what the weather is going to bring. And Google Meet will obviously be super helpful because it will give us the opportunity to continue teaching and learning remotely, even on inclement weather days. So this is brilliant. All right, so what does it mean? To consider privacy and security and protection of our organizations, education, basically, communities, schools, we want to make sure that anonymous users do not cause disruptions. And so because we know that that can happen, we want to make sure that this is not a distraction for the person who's actually using the Google Meet. So to increase the privacy of educational meetings, that includes like lessons online virtually, then anonymous users, which are users that do not have a Google account, will not be able to join. So only those with a G Suite for Education or a G Suite Enterprise for Education license will actually be able to join. And it basically prevents people also from sharing a link publicly, meaning that people from outside of your school organization will not be able to join. And the important part there is that it does not prevent users from dialing in by phone. Now, I know this feature is not yet available in Jordan, but since we do have an international community, it is important that I let everybody know on GEG Amman, for those who do have access to the phone dial-in feature to the Google Meet, that it is not preventing dial-ins from phone. So it's still really awesome feature to have. And again, as always, you can just click on the link below to get to the support file. This should be already in place because it was a gradual rollout from the 13th of July for both types of domains. And so now that we are the 9th August, yes, I have to keep checking my watch to be sure. Everybody should have that feature already, if not in the next few days for sure. Okay, I don't see there's any questions about that. But again, if you're not sure, because this one is important, sometimes there's departments or members of the school organization who would require to connect with somebody who doesn't have a G Suite for Education login account. And so if that were to happen, please do communicate with your G Suite administrator or your IT department, and they will help you find a way. So if you are an administrator listening to this call, you can actually contact Google support to get that feature turned off manually for you by them. Should you be in a position where there are members of your staff who do need to contact other users outside of that community. So do let them know. Okay, so the next update is for Google Contacts, and just basically that there's a trash feature, so it's not really difficult. There's a GIF there to help you just in case though, and it basically says that you can, it basically has a trash bin like in Google Drive. So if you send a contact, if you've deleted them, let's say they've moved on to another school, for example, or they've got a new job somewhere else, or whatever the case may be, and you need to remove it, there's now that trash box or folder, I should say, at the bottom left. And it shows you exactly how to use it. So you do have the ability, just like in the regular Drive, to be able to delete permanently. And if you do not push the delete permanently after 30 days, it will be permanently deleted for you. And again, you have all of the the Google support file information there to read on the step-by-step instructions. Okay, I don't see there's any questions, so I'm going to keep going. This is the last one I have here for today anyway. It is Meet availability in Gmail on mobile, which is rolling out on Android and iOS. And so it is a 15-day rollout, and for the iOS users, that started on the 13th of July, and for Android, it started on the 20th. So technically, according to, the exact time, everybody should have that available now. Like if I were to log into my Gmail application on my iPhone, I do see that this picture, what you see on the right-hand side of your screen, is what my app looks like now. So I'm able to use Gmail, or I can connect directly to the Meet. If you don't see it yet on your mobile device, I would recommend restarting your device and making sure that your iOS or your operating system, if you're on Android, is up to date and that you have downloaded and installed all of your updates, and everything should work okay. You can also, by the way, just set on your mobile device to automatically update your apps for you. Sometimes you can set it if you're connected to Wi-Fi, so if it's going to take bandwidth while you're out, you can always choose that option as well. Okay. And of course, if you need the step-by-step instructions, it is all linked in there for you. So this is really good. It does look like we're going to be able to end earlier today. Yay, because it is the summer holiday. And there's just me today. There's no Arabic. What else was I going to say? Right, so one update from last month that came out was the was for Google Sheets. This first one, yeah, that came out at the end of June was the chart axes. So I'm not sure if you guys remember, if you were here or not, but basically there were these awesome, more customizable things you could do in Google Sheets. It's like Google Sheets wasn't awesome enough. They had to do all these other amazing things. So you're able to add different tick marks, and you can change the style of the tick marks, as you can see in this GIF. And grid lines, and you can choose different axes, and you can also choose the spacing between the tick marks and your grid lines. So it's a really nice way to be able to personalize your data. If you are one of those educators or education leaders on the call that really enjoy telling your school's success stories using digital digital stories, so storytelling using digital data, then Sheets is now becoming like a super awesome virtual tool to buy in, to celebrate, etc., because you can just customize it so well. So basically it's just to say that there was a little bit of delay. It was supposed to start on the 29th of June for 15 days, but then the gradual one was delayed and didn't start until the 20th of July. So it's coming. You may see it now. And there was a second update that came out also earlier on that one as well. With more customizable features. So you had text content, style of legend items, you had single data labels, really, really cool. Your students will be able to do so much with that in their maths and science classes. So all of this is included, and you guys should be able to see all of these Google Sheet updates into the application now. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that delay with those two updates. And then the other ones, like I said, for Google Calendar, and there was one other one, I'm going to save until the end of August. So because usually we have our monthly webinar on one of the last days of the month, so this one is just a little bit over. But our next one is going to be, and I'm just going to get my calendar out now to let you guys know, is going to be on the 28th of August. So it's in exactly 2 weeks. It's not very long. 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks, on the Friday, and it will be at the usual time that we normally do our webinar sessions together, which will be 6:30 p.m. Jordan time, GMT +3. At least until the clocks go back. I try not to give out too much notice ahead when we get close to the school year, because we never know when the clocks are going to change back, but I think we should still be safe in August. Okay, so that takes care of the G Suite updates, and I don't see that there's any questions in the chat or on the Google Deck, and so we'll just leave this slide here again for you guys if you'd like to connect with us. You have the registration form to join GEG Amman as a member if you think that more of these sessions would help you with back to school and beyond, or if you would like to share that link out with anybody else who you think would benefit from being part of this awesome Googley community. Then I've also dropped that form for you in the chat, and you are welcome to connect with us. So just a quick reminder again about our Anywhere School. This is really, really exciting. We have an Arabic pre-party hosted with all of these awesome GEGs from Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And so we're really excited about that. The Arabic one will be on Tuesday, the 11th of August at 8:30 p.m. Jordan time. Okay, so do join there. We will post the links, by the way, to join these events on social media, either later tonight or tomorrow morning. So people have quick access to them so that they're closer to the actual event. And then the English one will be the after party, which will be on Wednesday, the 12th of August. And that will be at 4 p.m. Jordan time, along with the other times that you see there. So we are really excited. Please do join us. Some roundtable fun, some googly games, and just sharing with some amazingly inspiring education technology leaders from other places in the world. And so I'm really, really excited. I'll be joined by amazingly awesome GEG leaders from other countries in the area. So we are looking forward to getting our Googly on with all of you. And if there are no more questions, then we will call that time for today's monthly webinar. And we'd like to thank you very much, very, very much for joining us on this summer Sunday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're joining from. And really, you guys are doing an amazing job. It is not going to be an easy year, especially with the ups and downs of closure, not closure, hybrid learning, and these are all obviously new approaches for many educators, especially for the educators in this region also. So we know that it's not going to be easy, and we know we do know, however, though, that these sessions with GEG Amman and the other GEGs in the region are definitely going to be super helpful, which brings me to a good point. Actually, I'm also going to drop in the global GEG website in the chat. This is also a global educator group, global Google educator group called Global GEG, which I'm also part of, and there are amazing GEG leaders and also members just from other GEG communities that join to support educators globally, and they're offering some amazing sessions also to help you with your back to school re-entry, some amazing tools that you can use, some awesome strategies, some creative new ideas to help you really support your students social, emotionally, academically, etc. So definitely check them out as well. And I think that's about it. So thank you once again for joining us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you at the Anywhere School, which starts at 9 p.m. GMT +3 from Google for Education. Make sure that you check out slide number 7 in order to get the link in order to register for that event. In fact, I'm going to drop it in the chat now. It's the one from Google for Education in case you would like to sign up. I hope you'll all sign up. I'm really excited. There is so much stuff that is going to be released during this event from Google for Education, so you definitely don't want to miss it. And you definitely don't want to miss meeting awesome, cool, inspiring education leaders from these GEGs as well. So join us. We are looking forward to meeting you all. Have a lovely evening and wishing you all the best for the rest of the summer. See you soon.